This episode of the podcast is powered by the Salina Moose Lodge, 1473 here in Salina. And huge congrats to the Lodge crew, fresh off a big weekend in Milwaukee, where they brought home the Premier Lodge Award and were recognized as the top sponsor for the Mooseheart Run Rudolph 5K. But now it's time to celebrate right here at home with Jim and Road Day. On June 4th, from 2 to 10 p.m., it's a full day of live music, great food featuring yours truly at Two Dads, cold drinks, and a community gathering to honor Jim's legacy and everything he stood for. And the party keeps rolling. On June 5th, it's Tucker Munn's from 7 to 10 p.m., Waste and Neon on June 6th from 7 to 10 p.m., Will Freed on June 7th from 2 to 5 p.m., Voodoo Haze on June 7th from 7 to 11 p.m., Excalibur on June 8th from 4 to 8 p.m. And don't miss the Blessing of the Boats, Inflatable Day, and the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer Poker Run with appearances from Buckeye players only at the Salina Moose Lodge, 1473. If you want to be part of something different, something special, and something unique, join the Salina Moose Lodge today. Hello, and welcome to the Two Dads Podcast, episode number 16. If you're keeping track, I gotta keep track because I work here. On my left, it's Slick Willie. I'm your host, OG Pickle. Bill, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, buddy. How was, look, you came up, you're disheveled. He showed up 2 minutes before we started filming this thing, Golf League, but I know it's a special day because you got a lot going on. So How was Golf League? Let's start with the basics, my guy. How was Golf League? How did that go?
Golf was good. 42, ugly 42, a couple balls in the drink, just not the right club.
42 is not bad, though. What's your handicap?
I'm probably playing more like 16, 17 right now in the year, but I play about a 14. So it's right about where I should be.
Okay.
So I'm happy with it. Last week of Golf League, so some would say it's the first week of Golf League, but it is my last Golf League for the Goodyear Golf League over there in St. Mary's.
A huge update here. So tell the listeners that are not tracking and don't understand the significance of that. What does that mean?
Means tomorrow, which you guys will hear, this will be last week to you guys, is my last day at Rheinmetall. So no longer will be a production manager. Leaving the union, leaving production, and I'm getting into real estate. Got a new job over in Piqua at VSF Rentals, and going to do good things over there and help them manage that, help them grow their business. They got about 650 units, trying to double or triple that in the next few years. So I'm going to be a big part of the growth there. So
I know we have Becca coming on, but I have a few questions for you. How do you feel about it? Like, I mean, just to kick this off, you feeling good? You feel lighter in your feet? Are you nervous? I mean, we usually do this with guests, but how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm excited. Tomorrow's going to be tough, just saying goodbye to a lot of good colleagues that you've built time with, put in about 2.5 years there. So built relationships with a lot of good people there. Excited to leave the union. I can say that now. I could say
we've had so much union talk offline. Like, you know, you guys don't get to see it obviously on the podcast, but we have a lot of conversations about that. A little lighter in the shoes there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people that work in the union. The union just makes it tough to manage within a production aspect and really be able to get the right amount of product out. There's just a lot of hurdles. So there's good to it. There's bad to it. I won't say it's all bad. There's a lot of good people that work there. So it'll feel weird. And then, like I said, I'm off Friday. We got some stuff to go over to Shipyard. Got a couple things to do.
Oh, yeah. We got updates on that coming up.
Updates coming on that. So, and then Monday, I lean right into my new job, and I'll be driving a pickup.
You don't waste no time. Usually people take a little break, a little hiatus, a little vacation. You're just a grinder.
Yeah, baby. I don't know what I would do with a week off.
I don't know what you would. I don't know what I would do with a week off. I would drive I would just be breading chicken for no reason. I would just literally be sitting there brining and breading for no reason. Let's end this chapter of your life on a good note. Say one good thing that you liked about your job. What are you going to miss?
It'll be the relationships. We built a really good leadership team there, I feel like, in the value stream, commercial value stream, building ag tracks and a lot of commercial grade farm equipment for those guys. So I'll miss the people more than anything. I didn't dislike my job. I didn't hate it. I wasn't unhappy. I didn't apply for the job. They called me and kind of sought me out. So all's well as end well. If my boss Krista is listening to this, she still doesn't like me. She's still pissed that I quit.
Still mad at you leaving?
She's still mad that I'm leaving.
All right.
But no, she wished me the best, wrote me a pretty good card this week. So all was good was there. How was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good. Josh came into town. He's our editor. Yeah. So he brought his family into town. He likes to come over and just hang out. He had a free weekend. So we had him come over. It was nice to spend time with people before the madness of summer kicks in. We're kind of getting to that June. We talk about it here in the previous episodes. We're getting to a point where we won't have many gaps. Like vacation will be a thing of the past and entrepreneurship will kick in fully. So it was nice to have a relaxing time. But my favorite part of the weekend, we got to go out to Plaza Lanes. Okay, yeah. We went bowling with the kids. Josh and his son Ewan and his wife Emily came out there with me, Tasha, and the kids. and our banner at Plaza Lanes looks so good, dude. Like when I don't know what I was thinking when we originally did it. We made some cool art. If you don't know, we did turkeys are for bowlers, champions eat chicken.
Yep.
Like that was the slogan on there, and it's really cool. And it's got some Easter eggs. If you make your way down the lane, you'll be able to see it, but from your eye, you won't be able to. But it was I don't know. I grew up there at Plaza Lanes in junior leagues between the ages of like 10 and 14. I really thrived there. Every Saturday, I'd go to my mom's house, and then every Saturday at 10 a.m., we'd go to the Plaza Lanes, and we would go just bowl. And I wasn't from Salina, so I got to socialize. It helped me indoctrinate sort of more into the community. I got to meet a lot of cool people, a lot of bowlers, still friends to this day that we talk about our time at Plaza. So it holds a special place in my heart. And I think there was like a moment when I was taking a picture, and Izzy was there. There's a picture that we put on Instagram. It was me and my daughter, and I was just standing behind my back was to the banner. And it was monumental. I don't know why, because it's just a banner at the end of the day, but there's some significance to sponsoring the place and coming full circle with your child who's nearing the age that I was there to be able to sponsor something like that. So I don't know. It was really special. And the other kicker is that Justin Eckhart was the one I beat back in 2001. He's now managing the bowling alley. So it's a really weird time capsule over there. They've done an amazing job. I have to give a quick shout out. We don't do free shout outs too often, but they have changed it up immensely, Bill. Like the lanes are nice. They've got new equipment to be able to, I think Riker would love it. They've got little cartoon faces. You upload a picture of yourself right there at the bowling lane. They've got good food. They've obviously gutted it and reformatted the kitchen area and the bar area. It was just a wonderful day, but again, surreal to kind of come full circle to that.
Yeah, there's something about going bowling, eating pizza, and just having some beers and having the kids go out there bowling. So we'll have to get out there.
I can't wait till you have that moment too, though. There's got to be something. How about this? Let me ask you this real quick. If there's something you can sponsor, what would it be? Like, is there something from around this area that you could sponsor? I mean, we did Northmore. That's obviously some golf-related stuff. But like, is there one that comes to mind that you'd be like, that'd be cool one day because it reminds me of me?
Not locally. I was thinking in my head as a joke. I'm like, oh, so that means that we're gonna just go put a banner up in Hooters down in Dayton, right?
It seems on brand, but chicken joint.
Yeah, I feel like every time we went down the Reds game, we stopped at Hooters or Skyline. So that would be it if I had to pick one. But no,
maybe sponsoring the Reds, like Great American Ballpark banner. That could be kind of cool.
Only if they go out and get a bat.
I don't want to talk about the Reds. Every time we talk about sports, they go on this really bad slippage where they lose 5 in a row. They just lost to the Cubs the other day, 11-8 after they're leading 8-2.
Back to back versus the Royals. Let's leave it go.
Let's leave it go. But tell me about your weekend. You talked to me about mine. How was yours?
It was good. So we didn't do a whole lot. We went out to the lake. It was a lot colder on the lake than what we would have hoped for Memorial Day weekend. So enjoyed that. It was my sister's 37th birthday, so happy birthday, Abby. I know you don't listen to this enough, so if you actually listen to this, there's your shout out.
That doesn't deserve a shout. If you don't listen to this, you're not getting shout outs, although Zach Albert's probably got a lot of shout outs. Has he listened to the podcast?
Yeah, he reached back out.
Okay.
He reached back out a little bit. He's texted me a few times. But yeah, other than that, we took the boat out. We went to Boardwalk. We went out there. I was hoping the sub place was open. It wasn't open just yet. Excited to see the little tiki hut that's out there.
Did you see some of so I had a hand in that spray paint that goes out there.
That was bad. That was awesome. Look at me, restricting the bad words there. No, that was awesome to see that and kind of see how it's grown. It made it nice because we could go out and we could get beer out there in that little stanchion out there, as opposed to being super tight and packed inside the tent there.
I saw Riker try the arcades out too.
Riker played in the arcade.
That thing's sweet, by the way. I didn't have a hand in that. But that thing's sweet.
That scream that you had a hand in it, but
I didn't. Ironically,
but it's like the video games thing. Like it feels like, if anything, Mitch put the arcade there. But he probably spent 45 minutes in there. We were just out on the patio there, just kind of drinking, and he was in there. Come back, can I have $3 more? I'm like, yeah, here you go. Just keep yourself entertained. But Rob went out with us. We went to the Moose, had a good time at the Moose, got back. And,
I heard he passed out drunk in your couch with a blaring TV in the middle of the night. How'd that go?
Yeah, we have a full guest bed, full queen bed, everything. I say, guest bed's open. We got the sheets on, everything's made. And he's like, I'm not gonna make it upstairs, and he just falls asleep right on the couch. He had like one of Riker's little blankets. I mean, it was cold too. I mean, we didn't have the heat on. It was probably 65, so I know he was freezing, but.
Little blankie for Rob.
Yeah, he gets up early and gets out of it. So by the time I was up, he left and texted me like 5:45. He's like, "Hey, thanks for the hospitality."
He left at 5:45.
If he makes it to 6, he's up at like 4 for work every day. So he's just his mental 5:30 is the latest he's usually up. I feel like so he's always out before I'm even up. He doesn't even wake us up. He just
that
leaves.
Is a psychopath level stuff. I mean, I love Rob. Big Packers fan. Camaraderie is high. will be an excellent chef for the Two Dads truck for the secondary team that goes out to events this year. But Dad is some psychopath stuff. That wasn't on the resume when I brought him in.
Guy's built different.
Okay, that's fair. But speaking of built different, do you want to talk about some of the updates that's coming from Two Dads? Let's jump into the operations real quick. Why don't we jump into the commissary move? I know we've had some changes back and forth here and there. Where are we going to go? We talked about Bella's and being there, but now we've found a new home. Maybe talk a little bit about the changes coming, whys, the whats, and what people can expect.
Yeah, so originally the plan was to go out to Bella's and use the commissary kitchen out there, and they've been great. They worked with us. They gave us, a solid deal with everything. But with your relationship over there at Shipyard and RCS and some of the connections there, you had a really good idea. We brought it out there. We pitched it to Randy and those guys and a couple of other people there, Chloe and some others. I'm probably mixing their actual roles up, but they said let's do it. So we got a really good price on that. So we'll move in there. We got a meeting tomorrow, which is Friday. Which you guys will hear this next week. We'll be moved in by the time you guys hear this. And
That's crazy.
And we'll be bread and chicken, and hopefully that frees you and I up a little bit to go do some of the other stuff we like to do. I know Rich is going to have a hand in it. He likes working 100 hours a week if we got the work. So he enjoys that.
He just shows up, dude. Like sometimes we don't even have work, and he's, hey man, what do you got to get done right now? I'm like, Rich, it's midnight. Why are you here? He's on Rob Wendy hours, dude.
Yeah, he's waking up early, but no, excited for that. And
what excites you the most about it?
To me, not bread and chicken. Bread and chicken, you've said it from the get-go.
Gosh.
But bread and chicken is just miserable. We have a good team, we have a good system, and we can burn through it. But having the open space, the availability to bread that chicken in a bigger open space with a bigger kitchen, you washing the dishes and everything. But for me, it's getting the team that's able to bread during the day when we're doing our 9 to 5s. That way, we free our afternoons up to be a little bit more strategical, work on the truck, work on the podcast, and keep doing that. So I know you're pumped up for it. What are your thoughts on it?
I feel like it's another chapter of the truck. As an entrepreneur, you look for milestones sometimes, at least I do, like to draw on, right? No matter how insignificant or significant, and we've been manifesting this. We've been talking about it. We've been bringing it up and trying to run it over and over and over, and it feels like a weekly topic. It's nice to finally say that we have a home. And I'm very thankful for the Shipyard. Upper Deck's going through some changes. That's the commissary area we'll be working out of. They're actually closing down for the summer. They're changing their hours. They just have that sub shack you teased across the street at the Boardwalk Marketplace, and they want to go full effort on that because that's where a lot of people are going to be during the summer. It shifts. Winter, the Shipyard gets really busy because there's a lot of sport. Riker goes out there. You got a lot of flag football, soccer, volleyball, all kinds of sports. It's a beautiful facility. And then the summer, people get on boats, like you just said, and they spend most of their time on the other side. So they made a conscientious business decision to do that, and it works sort of perfectly for us because our main season is their slow season. Yep. So it kind of worked out. I'm excited to have space. I'm excited to just be able to store stuff, be able to have deliveries a little bit more smoothly, breading. I'm feeling very thankful. I don't know. And you said it best too. It will allow us to go do our jobs that we were meant to do. Like, it's not that I'm above breading chicken. But you've said it many times in the podcast in the past. Like, my best asset is going out and creating content, creating new avenues, creating visions for the stream that happens in the truck, where the lights and the sounds and the computer and building podcasts and building and finding new guests and new avenues and ways to take the business. So I'm really excited to do that because I can focus on what I'm particularly good at versus just kind of breading chicken all the time or getting held down by some of these things because of limitations of space.
Yeah, and I think once we pay those first few bills there at Shipyard,
shout out to small business.
Yeah, I've looked at the budget, looked at the financials. We got plenty of money to be able to fit it into our budget, especially now we're going into busy season. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you texted me. What was it? Saturday or Sunday? Whatever day I was golfing. Friday. It was Friday. And you're like, man,
you golf so much, I can't keep track. Which day was I golfing?
You're like, man, I just feel like we should have more money in our account. And we're sitting good and everything like that. And you're just like, what's going on? Why have we done this? Why have we done this? And I was like, Mitch, you got to figure we got all this inventory. We paid for all of our deposits for everywhere we're going this year. We paid for everything up front. It'll come. So I'm excited to get through the first time of paying Shipyard, getting in bread and chicken there, getting all the money in for the next 5 or 6 events, and having a clean reset where I can show you and say, hey, look, this is where we're at.
Well, this is, to be fair, you're very kind for the way that you just laid that story out. This is the first time we've actually sat down. I mean, that's the beauty of the podcast and had like a face-to-face conversation about it. And ironically, it's in the middle of the podcast. I freaked out.
He was like a bad ex.
It was
like 9 texts.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
Well,
what are you doing? Where are we at?
Have you noticed? Let me ask you this. Have you noticed that when I get cortisol and it flies through my body and I get stressed, have you noticed that the text exchanges change? Because I've noticed it myself. I'm like, I look back through messages where you and I are just actively and really doing really good communication things. You can see the back and forth is a nice ebb and flow. And then when stress hits, it's just, I almost feel guilty texting that much. I don't know why, and I'm constantly working on it, right? We always talk about leadership as an asset. Leadership is how we change. But dude, I freak out. I'm the first to tell everybody on this podcast when something goes wrong. I wouldn't say I lose my mind in the business side of it. I lean on you a lot. I literally am like, Bill, what are we going to do? Why is this? And I tell you what, this year's just been different because in year one, we were always selling out, and one of the reasons we were always selling out is because we were low on inventory. Like we just kept it low because you didn't want to. You wanted the next check to cash, right? Like you wanted to have inventory for the next and be able to afford it, blah blah blah. And it ended well, but the more popularity, the more I focus on the parts of business that I'm good at, I've noticed that's driving more people. It's driving more engagement. It's driving more sales and more interaction. And now you're tightening up, and we have to scale with that purchase too. Yeah. So it's getting used to buying more. It's getting used to afloat. It's getting used to bank account statements going way lower than normal and then way higher and then way lower and then way higher. But we're working toward a course. And I guess thanks, man. Thanks for keeping me sane because when I was by myself before this, doing all this stuff, Tasha probably just lost her mind. Like I was probably she was my soundboard. There was nobody else, you know what I mean? I was yelling at the wall.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny because, we'll get into it a little bit. I mean, we'll get into the recap for the weekend, but it was funny to see, we were at Van Wert this past weekend, and I kind of took, shotgun rider there. You're like, hey, I need you to train up front, POS. We need your face out front. I need to, you need some weekends off, so someone needs to run the POS. Right. Berkey doesn't want to do it. Rich can't do it. He said before the technology would swallow him.
I don't know what I'm doing with them computer things, but don't hand it to me.
Rob could probably handle it once he got trained and stuff like that. I'm sure Maria could. But it's good for one or two of us to be out front. The operations guy being in the truck is very important, I've heard.
Sure. I mean, you're the face of the podcast, too. People want to talk to you, regardless.
So it was good to get up there. You showed me a couple times. You showed me the buttons and everything else like that. It's literally just a phone, essentially. You're typing in what you want. And there was a couple times where, I was looking for that extra option where they're like, can I get the extra barbecue sauce on the side, this, or the special instructions, no tomatoes or no pickle or whatever it is. And I'm kind of fingering through it to find it. You're like, you good down there? You good down there? I'm like, yeah, it's been 2 seconds, my guy. Just can I look for what I need to look for? Are you good?
Was it that bad?
You were pretty quick, and then you would take a walk. You would walk, and you'd be gone for like 20 minutes, and you'd be walking around the block, and then you come back, and like, how many did you have? We're like, oh, we had 4 guests. We're in and out. We're good. So it's just, I think for you, it's, letting that control a little bit up just to see like, hey, you've never not really been there.
Sure.
So for you to not be there a little bit, that's that first stepping stone.
I don't even take that offensively. I think that's exactly, we talk about leadership between then and now, year 1 to year 2. Letting go of the business as it was year 1. I don't think I struggle with it. I think I'm working through it. It's like saying I don't struggle with it as if it's some insurmountable obstacle that I just can't comprehend. I know I have to do this. But getting used to it is not always so easy, right? It's a new face, bridges burned new, and opportunities have come and gone, and this and that, and it's always been good. But, the one thing that's really hard to stress, even through these radio waves, is businesses are their own living and breathing entities. It's almost like my third child, right? And to hand that over, I wouldn't say I'm apprehensive about it. You just don't, you want it to stay as consistent as it was when I did it. But then also at the same time, I have to recognize that I wasn't doing everything so consistent, right? Like there's holes that you poke in the things that I'm like, oh yeah, well, I just did this thing sometimes because this and that. And it even goes back to the brand guidelines we talked about. We can get into that here in a second, but I think you're right. I think I'm getting used to relinquishing trying to control what I can't control. And I think that's what you said in the text message. You're like, dude, you just control what you can control. And I think that's good advice for anyone listening. Whether you're starting a business, it's a partnership, a relationship, schooling, whatever, a career, sometimes it's best just to control what you can control. And I give you kudos for constantly giving me that reassurance or that constant buffer of allowing me to, I wouldn't say fail, that's too hard on myself, but to grow.
Yeah, and I think, it goes back to probably the 3 key phrases we use, 1% better every day, right? We're just getting a little bit better every day, which, goes right in line with keep stacking days. And then the same thing when you say control what you can control, right? I mean, it was a solid event up in Van Wert. We were going up against Memorial Day. People might have been out with their family doing cookouts. We still had a really good numbers day. We thought it was going to be a little bit stronger, but it was still a good day. Control what you can control.
Well, Kerry Roberts called me.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey man, how was Van Wert?" Because he's wonderful. I mean, to be a competing chicken truck in a way, I really don't see it as too much competition.
It's different chicken.
It's different chicken, but it's people like to label it as it is what it is. But
is his a chicken prison or is his chicken mansion? How big it is?
His is just a larger penitentiary. His is like a state
His
prison.
Is a state.
Ours
We're
is
local.
our local. Yeah, exactly.
Right, that works.
Different jurisdiction.
Yeah.
But he called me just before this podcast, and he goes, "How was Van Wert?" And I love that he checks in because he's really wants to help us in his own way or give advice where he can, and it's super nice. But I told him I wasn't disappointed with it, but I think again it's learning lessons. Like we chose Memorial Day, and initially I was like, "Yo, Memorial Day should be bumping. Everyone's off work, blah blah blah." But we get down there, all the shops are closed. It's kind of like a ghost town on Main Street. Everyone's going to a cookout, they're doing something else, visiting family, taking advantage of the time off. And it makes complete sense, but it goes back to that balance of control what we can control because we still had a good day. And I will say this, to see the silver lining in that, a lot of people came out because of word of mouth. So I'd say we did pretty well. Yep. I mean, we probably wanted more because that's just who we are as entrepreneurs. But I will say, to see a lot of people come out, and then on top of that, people came back and complimented. I mean, that to me, Rich still told me today, he's like, that was amazing. Somebody came back and told us how good the food was. They drove left and come back. We saw that at Shawnee, but how'd that make you feel?
Well, mine was the guys from Denmark maybe or Finland.
Oh, they were from, they weren't from Finland, and they weren't from Denmark, and they weren't from Poland because I asked. They were from...
somewhere overseas. Mm-hmm, they had the same...
In that pocket of geographical area.
Of heavy accent.
Heavy...
I couldn't even get their name right. I'd say, "Could you spell that?" And he could barely kind of spell it. And I'd be like, "I'm putting whatever's close." And
watching Berkey yell that name.
He was like, "Sven." Yeah. He's like, "Yep, it's me." But them coming back,
good enough.
Those guys coming back saying like, "Are you guys going to be here again tomorrow? Like, are you guys going to be here all the time?" And we're like, "No, actually, we travel around." Told them to follow our socials and stuff like that. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see those guys come around. I know the Main Street account there came through, did a little video, had their family out there and stuff like that. So it was really exciting to see, the outpour, even on just, going up against Memorial Day holiday.
Yeah, it was cool. We also have some exciting news to announce right now. Do you want to get into the American Cornhole Association? They're going to hear an ad here before Becca comes on. I can't wait to interview her, by the way, if you guys are staying tuned. We've got an amazing story coming up. Do you want to talk about the American Cornhole Association? I think that's a pretty big deal because we've locked our second official sponsor of the Two Dads podcast, which I think, regardless of the chicken truck, is a big deal.
Yeah, that's where you're supposed to hit one of those buttons over there.
Oh, let me see. Nope. Okay, that one's pretty good.
We'll count that one.
All right, I was trying for the air horn. There it is.
The bad news is I was going to label all those buttons for Mitch. There's actually a label on the control panel that shows you what those buttons are. So
let's just not talk about that.
But no, yeah, we've been talking about it a little bit. We've had the Cornhole Association stuff up on the counter. We've had the boards in the background for a while. We have inked a partnership with the American Cornhole Association. So shout out Josh, shout out Logan. Thank you guys for all that. Looking forward to it. The Moose has been a great sponsor. This is going to be another sponsor that, aligns up with the Dad brand, I would say. And what I'm excited for, not that the Moose isn't creative, but Josh and Logan are some creative guys. So I think some of the skits and some of, the ideas that we're going to put together with them is going to be a lot of fun. I know we talked about it on the truck when I was like, we were playing that fry toss in the truck, right? It was a little slow.
That was fun.
So we were playing fry toss into this little paper boat, right? And I was like, we should get the cornhole boards out and play with chicken tenders for the American Cornhole Association, just as which excites me because I think my brain gets a little creative nowadays.
Well, we also have the live stream going out at the same time, so we have so many offerings of content kind of happening at the same time. By the way, quick shout out: Rich got caught on camera picking his nose like a booger, and he was pissed. I said it to him as a little jest. I was like, "Oh, look at you, flick a booger," and he was like, "Why did you do that? I want to burn the truck down. Don't ever call me again. I quit." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Maybe next time we leave the live stream stuff away from Rich because he's more of a private guy."
Yeah,
but yeah, we have a lot of options here, and they push us to be better.
Yeah,
I think Moose is creative. They do a lot of creative stuff with giving. That's kind of where they're at. They use their creativity to give. And this will be our first sponsorship where we can also, I won't say take, I don't think that's the right word, but promote sales of something. I mean, cornhole boards and dads certainly go hand in hand, and they're working on a custom cornhole board for back here. Obviously, on the ad you're going to hear, we have a Two Dads code at the American Cornhole Association's website that you can get 15% off, so you can hear that. But I mean,
how cool were those boards, though?
Dude, when you texted me that, I was in a meeting with like regular work, and I was like giddy. I'm like, they were like, "What are you smiling about?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah, wait till you see these cornhole boards. I love the bags.
Everything looks good. I'm
everything
excited.
looks good.
I'm excited for that. And it's a testament to how far we're going. Before we get into the interview portion of this, let's go through the tech side real quick. Nothing's changed on the computer side. We're still doing that. And the live streams are going well. They enjoyed Van Wert. We got everything running. But you got to talk to the stream this time. What'd you think of that? This is your first time really getting to go back and forth with a computer, or a TV in our case, that's talking back to you.
Yeah, once I took over from you, I went on the opposite side of Berkey with the fries, and then you stepped out, and I got up there with the POS and got to kind of interface with the camera and the computer there. It was fun, man, because we did the stream for March Madness, so a couple of those guys.
Yeah, you've done a little bit.
Mercer Bear Down, I don't remember their actual names. I remember the
You'll get it by the end of this. Yeah, by the end you're going to be ripping them.
But then the guy from the movie theater in Salina commented a few, so we were going back and forth, talking golf, talking sports. So it was fun to interact, with your followers, our followers.
Followers now, dude. This my community is now your community, buddy. That's part of the ascension.
So it was fun to kind of interact with those guys, and I keep looking. It's like there's 47 people watching you. I'm like, there's 47 people that want to watch us.
And Rich pick his nose.
Watch Rich pick his nose, and just us kind of talk in the truck and kind of guys being guys. So it was really cool. I'm excited to do more of that in the future. I think that it gets me excited for the cash cab idea a little bit, like how much more interactive it can be. So it was good. And then we do have 3 events this week.
Yeah,
though.
talk to us about where we're going to be so people can kind of catch us if they want to come see us.
You guys will hear this on Tuesday, June 3rd. We will be at MVP Dairy. We've been teasing that a few times.
Shout out to Allie.
Allie, Allison, everybody there. Aubrey, shout out Aubrey. First time she ordered a bunch of shirts from Albert Sporting Goods. Bill Ray being the sales rep. So,
wow.
Those got delivered to them today. So if you need anything from Albert Sporting Goods, let me know. Don't let Zach know. I get commission. So, but we'll be up there for the MVP Dairy event on Tuesday from 3 to 7, I do believe it is. And then on Wednesday, June 4th, which would be tomorrow when you're listening to this, Jim Monroe Day out at the Moose. We've talked about it before. It'll be a big day for the community and Jim's legacy. So come out to the Moose, check things out, get some chicken. And then on that Saturday, we're back in Minster Food Truck Rally. We're going to dominate in Minster, hopefully.
Minster's always been good to us, dude.
1 for 1.
One for one, baby. It's still 100%. I don't care.
So no, excited to see who's all coming back from there. There's a couple people from work that didn't get it when we were there on like that Tuesday. So they said like, "Oh, I'm going to come out there on Saturday." I said, "Yeah, we'll be out there. Come on out there." So excited to see that. So
they've been hyping the crap out of that, by the way. That's the Minster Historical Society.
Yep.
I love what they're doing on socials, but they tag us in every post, so I get a notification every day, whether it's my truck or not. God bless them. They're just tagging everybody, and so hopefully we get a good turnout out there. But, I'm excited because, it's always nice when an event helps us with socials.
Yeah, 100%, especially when they use the right logo.
Now, real quick, before we bring Becca on. okay. We don't need, there you go. Shout out Van Wert. You brought up one thing I'm going to get to before we bring Becca on, and you talked about the fast food draft. You talked about one food you always have to have if it is, you got a fast food Hall of Fame, one item, any chain, no duplicates. What's one fast food item you'd eat for the rest of your life?
We talked about this on the stream. That's why it's kind of relevant.
Right.
If I had to go one all time, and we went little fringe on Jimmy John's being fast food, we kind of ixnated it. Give me the Culver's Butter Burger. It's never missed. It's got that crispy little outside. You can dress it with whatever you want. Tomato, pickle, mayonnaise if you guys are ever trying to bring me a gift. And then what'd you say? Because I forget what you said.
I said a quarter pounder with cheese because it's just my dad always ordered it exactly that way. But also at the same time, Berkey brought up the cheesy gordita crunch, and that was the one.
That was the one.
That one right there. I could eat that all the time. But speaking of new and fun and things that you want to talk about, let's introduce our guests. At just 24, Becca Wood turned a dream and a coffee trailer into Grounded Café. It's a now beloved shop in Fort Recovery, Ohio. What started as a mobile pop-up became a permanent space filled with heart, community, and family legacy. After losing your dad during the renovation process, Becca pushed forward, building a cafe that honors his memory in every detail, from the syrup stand he made to the church pews her father sat in. Grounded isn't just a coffee shop. It's a tribute, a mission, and a place to feel connected. Let's bring out Becca. This ad break is powered by the American Cornhole Association. Are you looking to play cornhole the right way? The American Cornhole Association is the original and official governing body of cornhole. Back in 2003, they literally wrote the rule book for how the sport is played, and since then, every game of cornhole uses a version of those official rules. The ACA also sets the standard for regulation cornhole equipment. They've got everything you need, from boards, bags, and accessories. So shop now and build your ultimate cornhole setup at playcornhole.org and use code 2DADS for 15% off your entire order. Well, Becca, thank you for coming on the podcast. I know this is all new; it's a little scary and stuff. She was sitting on. Don't be nervous. We are just two guys in a garage. But how was your day? How was the drive over here? How were things?
Good. Yep.
You feel good coming on the podcast? Are you excited? What are you feeling?
I'm honestly pretty nervous. But I'll warm up. It'll be fine.
No, everybody it goes through the same stuff every time. Don't worry about it. So for listeners that are tuning in, they've made it this far in the podcast, episode number 16. We made a little thing in the back if you're watching on YouTube at 2DadsPod. And on the third day, he made coffee. We love that. Tell us a little bit about Grounded. I mean, we don't have to go into the full story, but what is it? So if somebody was interested in going to your coffee shop, like what is it? What's Grounded? Give me some just like a rundown if you had a 30-second elevator pitch.
I mean, I would like to say it's an above average small town coffee shop. I really tried to elevate the interior design to make it seem something that it's not from Mercer County. I just really wanted people to have like an escape from their typical Mercer County vibe. But we do have a drive-thru. Everything's made to order. Pretty small menu because I like to keep it very fresh and just.
Who does that sound like, Bill?
Sounds like a simple operations guy to me.
Yeah, it sounds like 2Dads menu too.
Yeah, quick and easy.
Where are you out of right now? Because I know that you started with a mobile food. I'm stuck on food trucks.
Yeah.
I know you did a mobile coffee shop in the beginning. Your
Yeah.
brick and mortar as of 2025 is where?
It's on Wayne Street of Fort Recovery. That's just the Brick Street.
Okay.
So if people know where Fort Recovery's at, they know where the Brick Street is
Well,
at.
most of our
Right downtown, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, right downtown,
Yep.
basically. You teased it a little bit that you wanted to change up sort of the ambiance, right? You
Yes.
said, like, I had done some research before this, and you have changed the art form and the artwork in there to kind of be original, right? Mm-hmm. And you said you wanted to provide something different to Mercer County. What went through your head with that? Because I'm curious as to why you chose to be a little different versus to like fit in. What was going through your brain?
Well, I lived in Columbus for a little bit with my aunt and uncle. And I mean, any city, they have the cool designs, the cool just atmosphere. And I'm like, why can't we have that here? So that's what I really just wanted to bring back to Fort Recovery. Because I knew I didn't want to stay in Columbus. I'm not really a city person. I really like the small towns. But I just wanted to bring a piece of that back here.
What's the difference that you see, just real quick before we get into coffee talk? I also feel that. Like, I lived in Columbus for a long time, so I relate to that a lot. Big city, hustle and bustle. It's fun and it's got its own things, but when I moved back, I kind of noticed this aura about how good we had it growing up. What was that like coming home?
I mean, I was super grateful. I'm pretty close with my family, so I think the hardest part about living away is just being away from my family and just getting major FOMO on every time they hang out together. So, yeah.
Don't want to get left out of the euchre games around these areas.
I actually don't know how to play euchre.
All right.
I think I'm unteachable.
That's a Mercer County thing that you have to learn.
She runs an entire business, and she says that teaching euchre is unteachable. So anyway, go ahead, Bill.
It's intimidating. No, I would say, one thing I've observed at coffee shops, my wife and I go a lot. We're going to head out and check your place out on Friday. But, when you're back there and it's busy and you're in the hustle and bustle, what's your go-to coffee back there? I mean, you got to have something. You probably drink coffee all day, I would assume.
Yeah, I really have to try to cool it with my drinks. But typically, I mean, whenever it is busy, you don't even get a chance to drink anything. You make it, and then a big rush will come. So then you just kind of watch it get watered down, and so you just have to remake it. But I really go with an iced Americano with some cream and cinnamon. I like to keep it simple. I really like I've come to appreciate the taste of espresso, so I don't want to hide it with the milk and the flavors. So
did you have to cool it down? Like, in the beginning, we ate a lot of our own food. We ate a lot of chicken, and now I sort of hate it. I'm not saying, do you hate your own coffee, but do you hate your own coffee?
No, I do not hate my own coffee.
That's good.
I think there's so many variations of coffee. You can dress it up
Right.
1,000 different ways. I mean, chicken strips and the sandwiches they're what we got. So, I mean, Rich said it same thing. I was eating All-American Dad on Saturday or on Monday. And he's just like, you wait till about July. You won't want to eat one of those. And it makes sense. You eat it all the time. You cook it all the time. You prep chicken. You probably aren't going to want anything to do with that by the end of summer, Rich said. So I'll take those wise words from the old man.
He's
The
got
old
a little bit
reader.
of wisdom. Now, you teased it a little bit. You're close with your family, right? I talked to your family before this because that's what I do as an independent researcher. But I know now that you've been surrounded by independent businesses for almost your entire life, right? Like from phone cards that your family sold to doll shops. I know that one of your sisters sold like birthday parties or something like that, like a
Yeah,
princess
she did
party.
princess parties.
Exactly. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Do you feel like right now you're carrying the family torch or are you starting your own fire?
I truly never really put it together that everyone in my family does their own little business thing. I'm like, oh, like after I like reviewed some of these questions, I was like, oh, I guess we do a lot. I didn't realize that. But I guess in a way I am carrying the family torch by having a business. So
Yeah.
So you talk about your family a little bit there. So my uncles and a lot of my family are entrepreneurs young, and I think it kind of speaks to the area. There's a lot of business owners around here. So what's something from your childhood that, looking back, train you to kind of handle the pressure of being a business owner? You said you didn't even realize it. So maybe you've just been around it your whole life and you just walked right into it and it seemed normal. But is there any monumental event where you're like, hey, maybe I want to be an entrepreneur?
I really don't think there is a monumental thing. It just kind of just happened and we just went with it. Like it just felt right. So we did it.
Is that type of your personality though? Like, do you feel like you draw on that? Like if it feels right, you just go? Would you say that's something that's programmed into who Becca is?
Yes and no. I think it's more of like a blessing and a curse, I guess, if I think about something for too long that I'm not going to do it. So I really didn't think a lot about this. I just went into it and gave it my all. So I feel like if I was like contemplating, like, should I do this? Should I not? Then I don't think I would.
I feel like the simplest answer is the best answer. But again, opening a coffee shop at 24 isn't exactly common.
No.
So you obviously said that you didn't overthink it and that when it comes easy, you kind of easy come, easy go, and you kind of delved in. What made you feel ready to take that leap to invest in the initial mobile trailer? Because we're talking about your brick and mortar in Fort Recovery on Wayne Street. It's just basically downtown. But initially, when you started this business, similar to us, you started in a mobile unit.
Yeah.
What was the moment where you were just like, okay, this is simple to me, and I'm not overthinking it, right? Like you said, I'm going to go for this mobile unit. Like, was there a moment in time when you were like, oh yeah, like now I'm ready?
So I guess before I had the trailer, I was really just looking for a spot to put the brick and mortar. So I was like, I don't really know what to do. There's nothing available. Real estate's pretty limited in Fort Recovery. So we started with the trailer. And I was like, I just need some practice. I need to build my confidence on being able to, be in charge of everything and just making this work. So that was really like my trial run for the building. I never really had a goal of like just wanting to be in a trailer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Bill, you can speak to that real quick because like we're in a weird spot at Two Dads too. We've been asked by Van Wert to come out and do a brick and mortar. I'm really nervous about that. I'll share that with you just on the podcast. Like it seems scary because we talked about it last podcast, episode 15. Like you got overhead and now you don't have the scarcity. You're always available. It kind of changes the whole format of the playbook. But I don't know. What do you think about that, Bill?
I guess my big thing for all that was, the overhead scares me. Obviously, I'm in businesses with a low overhead, which makes margins a whole lot easier to control, and you don't have to do drastic changes too often. But my thing would be is if we did brick and mortar, I feel like we would have to expand the menu, right? I think we would have to do, the baby daddies, the boneless wings, and we'd have to, maybe throw a burger on there or something like that. When you went from your I don't want to call it a trailer, but your mobile coffee station to the brick and mortar, there had to be so much more you could do. I see you do food. Did you do food out of the mobile trailer, and did your menu expand a little bit with a more opportunity for space and probably resources?
My menu definitely expanded. Whenever I did the trailer, I just had coffees and then little small pastries every once in a while. I was really mainly just trying to nail down the coffee. But now that I have the building, I have more space naturally. So we do a small breakfast and lunch.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that would be my hiccup between the two, though. I think, we'd have
Did
to
you
expand that.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry, buddy. The question is, like, did you know when you had to scale? So obviously having the brick and mortar store as the end goal is something that keeps you moving forward, so you know that everything has a milestone and you're inching towards something bigger. when did you know that you had to get out of the trailer and move to brick and mortar? Was it just the retail availability, or what was it?
Well, we had an opportunity. A building was available, so I said, okay, let's do it. Let's ditch the trailer and go into the building.
Do you miss the trailer life at all?
Not at all. It was terrible.
Would you call it a coffee prison?
Yeah. You got some chicken prison to coffee prison. You said though that you and your dad had plans to open this together. And sorry to hear about your father. I lost my father at 18 at a really young age as well. So something we unfortunately do have in common.
It's tough.
But what point of the dream became heavier, after he passed? Because you had to continue to keep renovating the building, is what you said. Mm-hmm. And what became more clear for you then? I guess, I was going to college, play college baseball, and I lost my dad my senior year, so that put kind of a damper right on the timing, and I still said I had to power through and still go play college baseball, even though, your right-hand guy is not there. So what part of that dream became a little heavier when, you were going through that unfortunate event?
Honestly, all of it. It was very, very hard, and it was so unexpected. But I think the heaviest part that hits me now is seeing my brothers will come in for lunch on their lunch break, and I'm like, my dad should be there with them, and he's not. So I think that's what is daily the hardest. But I mean, obviously, right after he passed, 2 days later, the contractors were saying, okay, we're ready. We can start. It's wiping our tears, getting up there, we're ready too. So you just have to keep going.
How did you do it?
I don't know.
I know. I'm feel I wish you could feel the energy in this room. It's a beautiful thing, but how did you do it? Was it through grief that you pressed on, or was it through closure that you were seeking? Was there it just were on autopilot? What do you feel like you were now that you think back on that moment?
Honestly, autopilot and denial. I don't know. I feel like I just kind of blocked it all out, and I'm I have to focus on this, so I'm going to focus on it.
Well, sometimes you need something to draw on. Sometimes you need, I went through divorce, and the chicken truck for me became just a place where I could do.
Yeah.
And there was nobody that was talking to me. There was nobody that was expected. It was just doing. It was doing and going forward. And now you see, sort of as I come up for air, some of the repercussions that we talked about at the beginning of the podcast of control and letting it go and evolving and stuff. How did that go for you? Because if I can relate to anything that you're saying is through grief and through these challenges that you went through, which were massive, and so sorry to hear that. How did it go now that you've sort of built this place, right? You've got this operations, and now you have employees coming into the place that you were supposed to have your dad with you. What did you go through any similar issues? Did you struggle with bringing employees in, or did you draw on it? What were you feeling?
I guess, my dad was never going to actually work there with me. He was just more of my moral support system and just a person to go to for advice. So the thought of having employees come, I never really thought that was replacing anybody. But I don't know, truly just as time goes on, you just slowly heal. So.
Well, you added the church pews. We talk about. So two of the questions that I asked, just for viewers listening at home, I talked to her sister-in-law Amy, who was just amazing and gave me some feedback, gave me some questions that I could ask and some insight into the family. You're a very tight knit family, so obviously lost your father. I'm sorry, but you incorporated church pews that he sat in at church into your coffee shop that people can now interact with. What was that like? And tell us how those ended up in the shop.
Well, the church that I go to is Christ Chapel, and I grew up there. It was very, very small. I think my family made up most of the congregation. So they had to build a new place because it just kept growing, which is great. But me and my dad, we would always sit in the very back because he was one of the elders there, and he would just oversee everything. And he would always be just in case if something weird happened, he would be the one to protect everybody and fight off the bad guys that were never actually there. But we just always sat in the back, and they were getting rid of the pews because they were going to build a new church. So I'm I have to have this one. You guys can have everything else, but I want this one.
What does it mean to come into work every day and see the pew?
Yeah. It's great. It's a good reminder where I came from. Yeah, it's a bit emotional.
No, that's okay. I think that's what makes the best part of the story, truthfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, people go through, very similar things. Everybody loses people at different parts of their life. So I think what you said there, time does heal all. It's been 15 years for my dad now. So it doesn't, you still miss him, you still love him, you still want him to be there. But, time does heal. And I guess you always remember the memories even a little bit more as you go throughout that. So there's just, life events that, my dad and I just remember vividly. And it was 15 to 20 years ago, and it's like it was last week, right? So, but he did build a syrup stand, I heard. Right.
Yeah.
So, and that has become a core piece of your shop. So, what was that? What was the syrup shop? Why don't you go a little bit about that? And, how have you incorporated that into your current business?
And just for caveat, I heard you hated it at first.
I know. My family's like, if something can be made, we will make it instead of buying it or instead of having somebody else do it. Like, we can do it. So I asked him if he could build me one. This was actually for the coffee trailer, so I've had this forever. But it was simple. It was just a wooden little tiered stand, and it was supposed to have like metal rods through the sides just to hold everything together. And it was just funny because he comes in with it, and it's already stained in a color that I didn't even approve of, which doesn't even matter now. And he had these rods, and he missed like the holes for it. So then he comes back and he brings it back in, and the whole thing's like welded crazy on top. There's like these giant brackets on the top of it when it was just supposed to be just like a simple little thing. I don't know. It purely is just his touch. It's just welding the crap out of it.
Do you love it now that you see it?
I love it. Yeah. It's perfect.
Do you ever pause? Like, you speak so highly of your father and the influence that he had on this business, or maybe just the confidence that he brought to the business to let you know as a young woman, like, I can do this. Do you ever sit back sometimes when it's quiet and think, what would Dad do in this situation when you get into maybe some challenges that face the business?
I think that I need to do that more, but I guess whenever I do think about that, he would probably not react. And that's something I need to learn, is to just not react immediately, process what's going on, find a solution, and the first solution you come up with doesn't have to be the right one. So,
has there been anybody, when my dad passed, one of my uncles kind of stepped into a bigger role, I would say, and, kind of became a father-like figure. I know you got brothers and things like that. Not to knock anybody out of the picture, but did anybody, step up or stand out a little bit more when you lost your dad? Maybe you got closer with your mom. I'm not sure your family history, but, for me, it was my uncle. He stepped up in a different role, which was an uncle, and it was more of a father figure like uncle after that. Did anybody step up through all of that when that came through, and maybe you found, a newfound relationship with that maybe you didn't have before?
Truly, all of my dad's side is just so special to me. We are all so close, but I guess one of my uncles, Tom, his daughter is the same age as me, and we're actually roommates. So we just grew up together. But he's just always there for me with anything that I need. Like, he contributed a lot of his time into the coffee shop. Like, he built the coffee bar for me, and he did the trim work on all the mirrors, and he would just do all these little jobs for me because he just stepped up because he's the best.
I love to hear that. Can I ask the elephant in the room though? Why coffee? Like, why, when you were going into this business, it could have been anything. I know you started the mobile trailer and you kind of got into that, but what's the background in coffee? Why did you select coffee? And ask for that, like, why Grounded? What's the name Grounded about?
Well, coffee, I just kind of saw a need and I wanted to fill it. So, like, all of the other towns, St. Henry, Coldwater, Portland, Greenville, the surrounding areas, they have coffee shops, and Fort McHenry didn't. So that's why I chose coffee. I mean,
that's a simple market analysis. That's very good. Why Grounded? What's the name mean?
It just means that I'm just grounded in my faith and my family, community, just really wanting to stay humble, I guess. And it has like a little nod to coffee grounds.
It's a little bit more in depth than two dads.
We're not actually together, Bill.
Yeah, not yet, but you never know. Play your cards right. There's a difference between opening.
I'm sorry. I don't want to.
I thought that was just going to fly right through there. Dude, I was like, whoa.
Sorry, that one cut me. That was really good, dude. I was not expecting that.
No, there's a difference between opening a business and owning one, right? So when did, this place start to actually feel like yours? Was it in the truck? Was it, when you first opened up, in Fort Recovery on Brick Street there? Or, what was kind of that moment that you felt like, this is mine and I'm doing it?
Don't have an answer for this one.
Oh, that's totally fine.
I guess it just always felt like mine because I put my heart and soul into it. So ever since I had the idea for it, I'm like, this is mine. I'm gonna do it.
So was your opening day in the truck any different or more nerve-wracking than the opening day in the brick and mortar?
I think it was probably equal reactions for me. I was so nervous. Yeah, but I think the building was it was a lot easier than the truck was.
Does it bring you comfort? Just like having a building that's always there, sort of
Yes.
rock steady. You know, one of the things that I'm not going to put my psychologist hat on, but the brick and mortar offers a very consistent place to call home. It's home, right? Whereas the food truck, we call it a prison as a joke, but like it's always on wheels and it goes other places. And I'll be honest with you, in comparison to some of the loss that both of you have had, like I don't feel like the chicken truck is home. It just is, right? Like it exists and it moves and it's got this fluidity to it. But do you think that looking back now on everything we've talked about, like does this brick and mortar offer like solace, like safety, like because it's just there, it's stoic, it kind of is in a period of inconsistency in your life?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that.
No, that's fine.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I couldn't imagine, thinking that same question. I was like, when we do our meetings or we do, hangouts or we got questions or we want to yell at each other about what we're doing right or doing wrong, it's usually before or after the podcast. We'll take time in the garage here and just kind of hang out. We can't just go to quote unquote the office, and just sit there and,
right.
Even if it's on a Sunday or Monday where you're closed and just hash things out, sit here, look at things, we can't also just go sit in the truck either. That'd be a little weird. I mean, Rich would already be in there, so we couldn't have all three
I
of us
tried
in
it, but
there.
it doesn't feel like home. Like I have office days where I sit on there and I admire it and I admire the work, but it doesn't really, I don't know. I feel like a brick and mortar would give me that comfort because there's an office and there's a toilet and there's all the amenities that make you feel like home. Let me ask you this. We've kind of gone full circle here. In what ways has this coffee shop helped you heal? And I guess in what ways has it challenged your healing process? Has it made you get comfortable with the uncomfortable without that safety? And I know you said your uncle had helped and has stepped in and filled that role that Bill brought up, but I mean, has it helped you heal now that you've been sort of in this for a year or so?
Yeah, I would say it would really help with my confidence. It's like, I know, like, I just did this yesterday. I can do it again today. Like, I can just keep pushing forward, and it just really gives me a reason to get up and like get doing something. Otherwise, I don't think I would really have a whole lot of motivation if I didn't have something to look forward to and something to work for.
And it's the morning, you need coffee anyways.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I think, for me, it's, sorry, I got off track there a little bit, but what's something someone from the community has said or did, they come in there and they tell you, why this place matters beyond coffee. Have you ever had that, someone comes in there and I love this. I love what you guys are doing. It's an important part of the community. Have you had any of that?
I get that a lot, actually, and I'm very grateful for that, that the people recognize it and they appreciate it. So that's a really good feeling. I think people like just having a different space to be able to gather, to have business meetings that aren't at a bar, or because that's really all we have in Fort Recovery is like deep fried food, and that's pretty much it. So I just wanted to provide something that's different from that.
Man, our first meeting was in a bar.
Yeah, our first
Shout
meeting,
out
but
Solon
also,
Roof.
I mean, I resonate with this. This is exactly like I wanted to bring something to the community that just looked different. I feel like the art form, the artwork you put in there, the different eclectic things like the pew and a good story obviously carry it. What would you say, because, as entrepreneurs that listen to this, boys, girls, it doesn't matter. When someone says you're too young to run a business, that's, we had Logan Smith of the Willow come on. He bought the Willow at 18, leveraged his dad's farmland, and like, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone that says to you that you're too young to run a business? How do you respond, or do you even bother with that?
I feel like I would regret it if I didn't do it now. Like, this was probably my only opportunity to, like, I'm not married, I don't have a family. This is the only thing that I can focus on, so I'm going to give it my all when I'm young. So that way I do have time whenever I do decide to have a family. I can step back, but still have it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I really like that because, I've definitely been told in my career, I was a plant manager by the time I was 30. So to go look at some of these people that it's normally a 45 to 50-year-old job, you're not old enough to run a plant. You're not old enough to do this. I mean, Mitch, you've done some things at a young age that most couldn't do as well. It's more like, to me, it's not an age. It's, are you capable? Are you willing? Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to knock on the door every day? You go to work every day. Might be tired, you might be young, and like you said, it's a perfect time without kids because balancing, Riker and Izzy and Mac, it throws a curveball into, owning a business a little bit. So I do like that.
Do you ever think about failure? You ever wonder if it failed? Like, you worry about stuff like that? No, I'm just curious because there's a lot of entrepreneurs. Kyle Guttemüller came on here last week, and he's like, I don't even think about it. because he's an eternal optimist though. I mean, God bless him. But do you ever think about like, what if it didn't work? Do you let thoughts like that take over your brain? How do you think about dad when that comes in your mind, and just keep like, what comes to your mind when you think about that?
In the beginning, it was definitely nerve-wracking because Fort Recovery is so small. I'm like, I don't feel like maybe this isn't the best. Like maybe we don't have enough people. Maybe I won't have regulars, but they proved me wrong for sure on that one. But I remember my dad, I was going over this whole idea with him, and he was like, people always eat. People never stop eating. So if you have food, they will come. And he was right.
It's good advice.
What's your best menu item, food-wise?
I really like our breakfast sandwich. We get sausage locally, and it's just a nice quality. Everything there is truly just great quality, but I think that's my favorite breakfast item. And then our Italian wrap is probably the most popular.
In on that.
I'm
getting that
Italian.
Friday.
Please bring me one
Anything
home.
Italian, I'll enjoy.
So what do you offer between you? So you just said you do breakfast, you do
Yes.
coffee, you do an Italian sub, you do lunch. Like, walk me through what somebody can expect if they walk through your front door. I mean, you've got a great story. I think everybody listening right now I just love how honest you are, authentic you are. But like, what can someone expect when they come in?
Well, it's a very small menu, but that's the way I like it. So we have two different types of sandwiches. It's either you could get sausage or ham, or you could get it on an English muffin or a bagel. So keeping it simple that way. Or you could just get a plain egg sandwich if you don't like meat. And then we also have a scramble. It's just scrambled eggs and then your choice of the meat, and then you can add salsa, sour cream on it.
Kind of like an old bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that.
And then for lunch, I have a Caesar wrap, a Italian wrap, and a turkey bacon wrap, and those come with chips. Whenever it gets colder, we do soups, but whenever...
Do you do like other drinks besides coffee? Like, do you have like, so coffee for the morning, and then if I want something with my Italian sub, can I get like...
Yeah, we have refreshers.
Oh.
What's super popular is the boba popping pearls.
Oh my God, you have boba?
Yeah, we've got that.
I'm out on boba.
You're out on
It
boba?
just creeps me out, man.
It's weird. It's a weird...
It's not the traditional tapioca kind, which I don't know if people would really go for that. I like that, but I don't know if everybody does, so I don't do it.
You spoke on community, though. One of the things that resonates with me is that the community supported you. What can you say about Fort Recovery? Did they showed up for you? They still show up for you? Like, what can you say about small town community in comparison to the time in Columbus?
It's night and day difference. Like when I was in Columbus, I was so lonely. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know how to make friends. I just like stayed in my room the whole time. Like I don't really know what to do. I didn't really put myself out there though. But with Fort Recovery, they just like everybody knows each other. Like you know your families. Like there's just not too many surprises, and that's what I like about this community.
Do you ever throw curveballs? Like I feel like your menu's simple and
Yeah.
coffee's pretty straightforward. Do you ever do anything for your own, like just to throw a special on there? Anything that might, obviously the decor is a little different than in normal Fort Recovery,
Yeah.
but do you do anything else on the menu or any kind of like pizzazz that you brought back from Columbus that kind of like keeps things spicy?
Honestly, no.
That's okay. I mean, straightforward. We do
but-
no. I don't think you should either. I mean, our sandwiches are straightforward.
Yeah,
I
we'll
mean,
venture
That's
out.
how I like it. I like it straightforward. I like it easy. I never wanted a huge menu because whenever I would go to like other coffee shops and just see like 100 options, I'm like, I just get so overwhelmed. I'm just going to get something basic and not actually try something from them.
psychologically, if you offer too many choices to people, whether it's merch, food, a catalog of options, they choose none. Like psychologically, that is actual statistic for those that are listening. They will choose zero.
So what's a small town coffee shop vibe that no corporate chain could ever recreate, and how do you keep that alive? I know you talked about the church pews a little bit with your dad, but you talk about the ambience of stuff like that. So what's that hometown feel that Starbucks can't recreate?
Truly touching back on what we've been talking about, just the community, just being able to be like, hey, how's your dad doing? Or like, just really knowing the people. Sorry. This scared me. But yeah, it just all comes back to community. It's a familiar face. Yeah, I don't think that big chains can really compete with that.
No, I mean, we talk about it all the time. How many repeat customers do we have? And,
Yeah.
and they just keep coming back, and it's like, hey, thanks for coming again. Thanks for coming again. Love what you guys are doing. So, you get that following a little bit, and, the community means a lot. And, we're starting to branch out a little bit, right? We're going from Salina to Van Wert to Minster to Walpaw.
It's nerve-wracking.
It is a little
It's not just
nerve-wracking.
Fort Recovery. It's to prove yourself to like a tri-county area. It's certainly, we have Allglaze County coming up, Van Wert's coming up. I mean, it's tough. One of the impressions that I get from you is that this is not the end all be all, right? Like you were motivated, you built the trailer. You had the opportunity, you seized it with the brick and mortar. What's next for you? Like, do you see yourself expanding the coffee shop? Do you see yourself getting into an entirely new business? Where's your heart lie right now?
I truly am content where I'm at right now. So I'm not sure on expanding. Definitely, I guess if I were to expand, it would just be the menu a little bit. But I don't know if I would want to put another shop up. Or,
Why is that?
I just know how much work it is.
No, I mean, it's fun. It's funny, Bill. I actually love that answer, and you know why? Because I feel like as entrepreneurs, or at least me, my thing is always bigger, bigger, bigger. Next. But there's a slot in entrepreneurship that lives to just do the same quality thing and consistently replicate it. It doesn't have to continually grow. So I love this answer of just saying like, I don't want to expand.
Yeah, I think she's in an industry where, it's not something that's a fad, it's coffee, right? People are going to drink coffee for the rest of their lives, especially, you get them hooked on that. I told you I want to try that blueberry drink, whatever it was on your guys' Instagram, If I come there and I get hooked on that, the bad part is I'm driving 25 minutes to Fort Recovery to get it once a week. You know what I mean? So it's like people will go for that repeat business and just keep doing what you're really good at, and then you'll have lifetime.
I literally
you'll
will
have
drive for
lifetime
that.
partners.
I'll drive for that Italian right now. I literally would
They're
drive.
closed right now, but yeah.
Yeah, she's here. You talked about the importance of family, though, and when I talked to your sister-in-law, she said that it was the importance of like you want to start your own family. Is this something that you want to bring if you have kids, would you want to bring them into this? Is this a family legacy? Do you want them to join entrepreneurship? Do you not care? Like, how do you feel about that right now?
Truly, I don't really care. If they want to do that, that's fine. If they don't want to, they don't have to.
Do you want to train them a little bit in the entrepreneurship stuff? Like I have the kids go around the truck a little bit. They drop some stuff in fryers just to play a little bit. I'm okay the same way. If they don't want to do it, fine. My dad was a bull semen specialist. My uncle was a bull semen specialist. My grandpa was a bull semen specialist. I went to college and didn't do that at all. Now I own a chicken truck. But I guess, do you feel like there's morals and values that they can learn from the hard work of entrepreneurship?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's what I would probably be more focused on passing down than the business itself, is just the values and just teaching them, like, if you have your mindset on something, like, you can do it.
Yeah. When I do it with Riker with Holloway. Hey, come on, we're going to go drop a dumpster off. Well, I don't want to go. Get in the truck. Let's go. We're going to go drop a dumpster off, get some up early in the morning on a weekend, get some out and going around a little bit. So I think it's huge for, just growing up and understanding, what hard work is. It doesn't have to be entrepreneurship. It could literally be working anywhere, but hard work at a young age will set the path for success, I do believe.
And people notice that too in young kids.
Yeah, you can tell the difference when they, at certain age points where, maybe what they've done at home a little bit, like, they were raised right. And raised right is very broad, but I think you can see the hard workers when they know. I mean, you look at farm kids, that's the staple, right? They're farm kid. They know how to work. They've worked their whole life. So it's typical for them. So it is big in this area.
Before we get to the game show, because I always play a game show every week, and this has been amazing. What does raised right mean to you? What does it mean to your family? Like, what are the morals that people can take away to know about your coffee shop?
Serving others would probably be the biggest one, is just being loyal to your family and loyal to your friends, and just know that you can always count on somebody.
Well, I can tell you why it's very successful in Fort Recovery. That's amazing morals no matter where you go. But that sound means, Becca, it's time for our game show. Are you interested in playing our game show?
Sure.
Bill, you finally get to play along in this one.
Baby.
He's back. Bring out Bill. All right, Becca and Bill, it's time for our favorite part of the show, the lightning round we call Sip or Spit. This one's called Sip or Spit. We're going to throw some rapid-fire coffee shop scenarios your way. For each one, you've got two options. Sip, which means you're into it, you drink it up and you let it slide. Or spit means no thanks, hard pass, get it out of the cafe. Are you both ready? No overthinking, no expectations, just pure gut instinct. Do I have both your buy-in to play?
See.
Okay, let's find out how grounded you really are. Pumpkin spice in July. Sip or spit?
Spit.
Sip.
Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. Someone saying, I'm just here for the sourdough. I don't even drink coffee. Sip or spit?
Sip.
Sip.
Barista calls your latte their art piece.
Sip. Pride in your work.
I don't know. I think that's a little much.
Okay, so spit for Becca. TikTok influencer filming a get ready with me in your drive-thru. Sip or spit?
Sip. All publicity is good publicity.
I want to say spit. Live in the moment.
Okay. A customer orders 9 drinks and pays in all quarters. Sip or spit?
I'm going to sip.
Spit.
Oh, a sip. Maybe she
I
likes
like the quarters. I need them.
cold brew with whipped cream and a cherry on top.
Sip.
Spit.
Okay. Someone asking, what's the least coffee tasting thing you have? Sip or spit?
Spit.
Spit.
Espresso shot straight from the paper ketchup cup.
Spit.
Spit.
Someone asking, do you guys sell breakfast pizza? Every day. Sip or spit?
Spit.
Spit.
A customer tipping in homemade coupons. Sip or spit?
Spit.
Someone confidently ordering an espresso with no shame. Sip or spit?
Sip.
Sip.
We love it here. It's Becca. Thank you guys for coming on the podcast. I guess
for
Bill's
having me.
always been here, but Becca's here. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on the podcast, Becca. We loved having you.
It was a good time. Thank you.
That's another episode of the Two Dads Podcast, episode number 16. Slick Willie, before we get out of here, anything for the crew?
Go check out that blueberry whatchamacallit on our Instagram at Grounded Coffee. I can't wait to have it on Friday.
I can't wait to have the Italian sub. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. This is OG Pickle and Slick Willie with episode number 16 of the Two Dads Podcast. See you next week.